Welcome to the E Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Founded in 2013, the EHL is your next step on the path to college. Over the past decade, the EHL has established itself as the college placement leader on the East Coast. And now, here's your host, the commissioner of the Eastern Hockey League, Neil Ravin.
Thanks, Jim. And with that, let's bring in this week's E-Crew, Jeff and Anthony. Do you guys see what I have behind me here? This is my life now.
Toys.
Just little books and little cars. And
how many feet are you breaking, Neil, when you go into your office in the morning? What was that?
You see that blue one behind me, Jeff? That's like a talking toucan. And when I step on it, it plays different songs or whatever.
You like stepping on that one at like 5:10 in the morning?
I literally twisted my ankle the other day, and I over-exaggerated going down, and I was like, Vicky, I think I just broke my ankle. And she's like, no, get up.
I hear Vicky now. Get up, old man. Take some ibuprofen. You're
becoming a real-life bandit healer.
This is my life now, Anthony. This is my life. Oh, well,
do all the coaches tell you to go step on a Lego now? Because now that could actually happen.
Exactly. Actually, Bill Zanaboni said wait till it becomes Legos because they hurt even more. So, and he has two kids of his own, so he has that experience.
But his knees have been creaking for years, but now the feet are friggin' screwing him up.
Yeah, but enough about children's toys, I guess, right? We'll get to Around the E Show.
Let's take a look at what's going on around the E Show.
Around the E Show is presented by BioSteel, the sports drink of the EHL. Use the promo code EHLB1. That's EHLB1 for 25% off when you check out at biosteel.com.
And we'll start off in the South this week, Anthony, because we finally have a little, I guess you could say, some waves. 2 straight losses for the New Jersey Bears. Is this a coming down to earth thing, or is this what more, Philly Hockey Club is a 1-0 shutout the other day in their loss to them. Is this something where you're just not going to beat a division opponent 5 or 6 times over the course of the season? Eventually, they're going to sting you once?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think this is the sky is falling for the Bears. 2 whole losses, and even the best teams will lose games to anybody.
Yep.
I mean, we always talk about how great the parity is, but Philadelphia Hockey Club gets a win, they sort of climb back up in the standings. Pennsylvania Huntsmen, they get a win over the New Jersey Bears right after getting Andrew Blanchard. I thought that first goal that they scored was pretty funny because Carson Sickley scored with the setup from Blanchard, so you got 2 former 87s.
Oh, look at that!
So double agents, if you will. Thank you, guys.
Yep. That's too funny. But
the secret.
I will have to say this about the 87s, Anthony, because I was talking to Hooley about this the other day. What is this trend when goalies get traded to new teams and then just shut the 87s out? Like, what do we call this? Is there a label for this? Because Ryan Crouchaw, in his first game with the Apple Corps, coming over from the Chiefs, gets a shutout and an assist.
Yes. I know Ouch. Tim Moore was talking about that the entire broadcast. I was listening to him from work.
Ouch.
Not only that, Jake Hugeson, first game being traded from the Boston Junior Terriers, plays against the 87s for Team Maryland. Did not shut the team out. 87s ended up winning that game, but Hugeson made a lot of saves and a lot of grade A opportunities. But Crouchaw was great yesterday too for Apple Corps, and I think with Apple Corps too. I know we're talking about the South right now, but I wasn't on the podcast last week. I picked Apple Corps as my way too early Frozen Finals pick, and the Railers were just like, I took that personally, and they beat Apple Corps. It combined like 11-2 score in a back-to-back. Like, okay, sorry Railers. I know you guys are freaking awesome, but
your future bet, Anthony, you knew that a week later they'd trade for Ryan Crouchaw, an all-star goalie. Like, you just envisioned that future, that the Apple Corps would trade for him. So the thing that I think is going to be interesting, I don't want to get to the Central yet, but the Apple Corps don't play the Railers again until potentially the playoffs, right? So
4 matchups,
and they
4
could
wins
look
for
very
Rams.
differently. And obviously, that first game that Crouchaw had is a tremendous start for them. But back
How
to
about an old-fashioned hockey trade? Wait, we can't bury that lead. Roshan for Vanilla?
Yeah, we're going to get to that when we get to the Central, right? Because it was Central and Central making a deal. So, but to finish off the South, yes, Anthony, you did mention the next day the Huntsmen also got the Bears. The Little Flyers had a win the other day against, I want to say, Team Maryland. It just feels like every other game in this division, maybe it's consistent with past years. You win one, you lose one. You win one, you lose one. There isn't that ability to really string together 3 or 4 or 5 wins. It just doesn't happen that often.
I mean, the 87s were playing well where they had 3 straight wins, and then they go up against Apple Core, which is funny too, because I feel like you have these quote unquote, and I want to put like in quotes, normally weaker teams like Apple Core or the Connecticut Rough Riders that would always end up like breaking their winning streaks, which I always just think is like the weirdest trend. But I mean, credit to Apple Core, they're having a great season. They have Ryan Croshaw now, so now they're even better. But I think with the Bears, they're learning that same thing where you're right, Neil. You can't just go 6-0 against the same team in the entire season. Eventually, you're going to get figured out. But again, credit to the Bears. They're a really good team. They have a great goalie in Carson Fry, Tim Briley too. So I just wouldn't be surprised if they rattle off like another 5 straight wins or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, and if anyone wants us to take a shot at ourselves as opposed to how we're kind of making little jabs there, my senior year at Quinnipiac, 2012-2013 season, was the first year Quinnipiac actually advanced all the way to the national championship game. They had beat Yale 3 straight times before that game. They lost the 4th one, the most important one, right? But but the point is, can you beat somebody 4 times? Like it's tough. It's really tough.
It's really hard.
So, but to get to the Central, Jeff, that has to be one of the most I don't want to say shocking, because shocking makes it sound like it came out of nowhere, but it caught me off guard because you don't have a lot of...
been great for New York.
And you don't have a lot of trades in division, right? No. You don't and you don't have a top scorer being traded for a top goalie. Like that just doesn't often happen. But I honestly think it's going to work out well for both teams.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, because let's look at it this way. Apple Core has a lot of scoring. They still have Nick Sweet. They still have the Bankovitz brothers, among some other players. Tyler Goebel. A bunch of guys
James
who can put
Kinney
the puck
on the back end.
Yep, James Kinney. So they have guys who can put the puck in the net. Then you look at the Connecticut Chiefs, and here you have, I'd say, probably one of the best goalies in the EHLP in Jordan Dumont. Where I think, if he hasn't already, probably going to move up to the EHL. So I think the Chiefs have pretty good goaltending depth. So this is a trade that really does work out for both sides, where you really kind of plug in holes that you really need, because the Chiefs don't have that much scoring. Apple Core gets a really good goaltender, so now they kind of round out their back end. I mean,
it's going to be interesting to see.
But I think because Apple Core's... sorry, Jeff.
Oh, no, go ahead.
And I just think because, I think because Apple Core is already off to a really good start, I think this trade could work out really well for them. Not that they had fleeced the Chiefs, but really. But I think for Apple Core, I think now this really gives them a shot at competing against the Railers and come playoff time.
What were you gonna say, Jeff?
I just think there's something interesting to look at when I was doing some research with Croshaw. Yesterday was kind of an easy 28 save on 28 shots shutout. But in all of his other starts, he's seen 35 plus pucks 10 times, including a couple of 62 save efforts, 70 save efforts. So with the little stronger defense in front of him now with the Apple Core, will he see less shots? Will he, we've seen, be a little less sharp? Maybe he's kind of accustomed to seeing a ton of rubber and he's okay with it now. So you're saying like the inverse
Jackson Bernard, where he went from Apple Core to Maryland?
Yeah, basically. Absolutely.
Hopefully this trade turns out a little better.
We're going to label this one as the inverse Jackson Bernard. And people are going to be like, what are you guys talking about? I think one of those 60 save efforts, though, Jeff, was against the Apple Core. So I'm sure that's what caught Lenny's attention and potentially
100%.
making this deal. And
We could use a goalie like that.
yeah, and listen, I mean, you can't discredit anybody else in this division, but early on, it does feel like we could head back towards one of those matchups of Applecore versus Railers for the Central Division Finals. And speaking of what we were just talking about, the Railers won both games against the Applecore in New York, and then both games against the Applecore in Worcester. But
so you're saying New York's due to win at some point?
And come back around to March. Now, like, it won't be the same Applecore team. Minus
Yale 2012.
Minus Ranillo, add in. It could be a different look, but
yeah,
a lot has to take place between now and then, obviously. And there's other teams in the Central, the Chiefs now, especially, who think that they've revamped their lineup to make a run themselves, and they've been the team that has faced the Railers the past 2 years in the Central Division Finals, right? So,
I mean, also the Chiefs and HC Rhode Island winning their last 2 games, so you can make a case that both of those guys are heating up.
Yeah, Rhode Island's really starting to come into form for sure. They're getting closer to getting back to 500 now.
Yep, for sure. So check off the South, check off the Central, go to the East next, and
Wizzy's over Rangers.
Well, you know what's funny?
Aging of the guard.
I get the chance to mention Vicky a lot in this podcast. My wife, obviously, and she's a great supporter of me in the 9+ years I've had this job, right? So
yes, she is.
Yeah. So
the best.
So the other night she's like, "Hey, I'm looking at the standings," and I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, I was bored. I pulled up the website." I was like, "Okay." She goes, "Wizards are playing well." I was like, "Yes." She goes, "Go Wizards," and walks out the room.
Wow.
Well, that's the first team I called games for, Jeff, right?
Yep.
Before there was a string of 3 or 4 years.
Andrew Harley.
Yeah, there was a string of 3 or 4 years when I called like 70 games or so.
4 years.
So they were kind of the first team that opened up that window for me. So there's always kind of been a little, for Vicky, not for me, everybody, okay? A little affection towards the Wizards. And she's like, 15 wins. I like it. And I was like, okay. But yes, Jeff, ho-hum. They just keep plugging along, and they've added a few really good pieces here. They got a win the other day against the Rangers. I know it's just December, but to get a win like that over a team that maybe has kind of had your number down the stretch and in the playoffs historically, does that do anything from a confidence perspective if you had to match up with them in March?
I think it has
Absolutely, because now, now you get the message that, hey, like, we can beat anybody in this league because you beat the defending champions. The Boston Junior Rangers have looked, far and away like one of the best teams in the league. So you go into the locker room after that win and just say, like, hey, no, it just goes to show that you guys can beat anybody.
Yep.
And, the Wizards, they're only 4 goals behind the Rangers in terms of goals scored, so their offense is humming. They're 6-0-1 in their last 7. And
this new goalie they got too, like you said, Neil, it's additions everywhere. Every team is we're at that halfway point where they're starting to add guys from other leagues that may not be getting the right playing time or getting the right opportunities. And this Braden Ingram for East Coast Wizards, 4-0 since he came in. Yeah. I think I looked it up. I think he's one of the ones. I looked up him, and then the Huntsmen have added a new goalie too that has 2 wins.
What's funny,
Minnesota.
He really isn't. He's new this season, right?
Yeah.
He's just the backup goalie because he's an 05. That's what stands out the most to me about this.
Kylie and Ackerman have been the ones that have basically played every game.
And Zerner before they moved him to the Rough Riders, right?
Yep.
This was more of we're going to bring you in. We have a few years with you. Like, we'll get you starts here and there. Then Corey's like, you know what? Like, we need a little spark here. In net, and I'm going to give this kid a shot against the Rangers, and he wins. You look at his 4 wins, Jeff. Wolves, Bandits, Wolves, Rangers.
Yeah, that's right. His first start was October the 4th. You're right. So he's kind of just been around. Was he on their 18U team?
I'm not sure.
They don't have a premier team, so
I do love the hometown, Beverly Hills, Michigan. Right. But what I was getting at before is between the Wolves and the Rangers, those are 2 of the top scoring teams in the league.
Yeah, and
And
Rangers have the best formula right now. They score
Yeah.
the most and give up some of the least amount of goals. So that's a real 3-2 win right there.
So for an 05, who by the way is 6'5", that is pretty
Jeez,
tall.
6'5", 190 as an 05?
Yeah.
What are you eating, bud?
So I mean, to have that goalie go out and get that win against the Rangers, I think this
Big
is
spot.
this is
long
gonna make
lost
them...
brother of Carson Fry.
It could be. It could be. This should have them feeling very good heading into the showcase, where I know they have Rhode Island Monday, Avalanche Tuesday. I gotta check on Wednesday. Let's see.
And it was at home at the Edge, so that's
Lumberjacks. Lumberjacks
Ooh.
Wednesday. So they
One
have
team that had a couple of good wins. We're gonna get to the North, but
yeah, so we're gonna get to the North for sure. But back to this East Division. Did you guys see the overtime winner that Andrew Van Antwerp had for against the Seahawks yet?
I did, and he does that same. He loves that like wizard celebration that Trevor showed us in the Wick office.
Oh my, what a play! And you know what?
That kid's good.
Speaking of Michigan, he's another kid from Michigan. I just mentioned Ingram, and then we mentioned Van Antwerp, and I have to get to
Michigan Combine, folks. It's a real thing.
I have to get to Sam West pulling off the Michigan for the Avalanche EHLP team. I'm sure you saw that goal as well. Tyler with a fantastic call.
Well done, Tyke.
Of that one. And then, yes, the Michigan Combine. We'll come back to that. We'll go North Division next. And I think it goes without saying that one of the teams that has struggled a little bit defensively so far this year was Vermont, right? And we make our way too early finals picks right after Thanksgiving. And Jake, being Jake, if you have the opinion, you back it up, right? And he picked Vermont. And then they go out and sweep the Spartans right after that.
And speaking of infiltrating, here comes the baddest dude from Revere, old Railer Cam Wickens with Star of the Week for Jake Basile to help him out.
Is this team going to go as far as Cam Wickens takes them?
They don't have the Logan Descanios of the world, the Buffalines, the...
Jim also just cranked this up, by the way. He just cranked the podcast up there, Jim.
Oh, they were good. They're still in the record books for a reason, folks. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing with all these teams, right? We've talked about all year and all ever e-show podcast long about good goaltending and defense wins you championships at the end of the day. That's what separates a lot of teams. So, I mean, of course, you still got Trent King. We love Trent King. Brendan Manning. So they do have some guys, Hayden Bullock. But yeah, I think that they're not going to be a team that's going to get into Wizards-like matchups where they're going to win 9-6. But yeah, they're going to have to. Cam Wickens is going to have to use his EHL veteran status to kind of calm that team down and kind of give them a little guidance and confidence to keep steering that ship up the North Division standings, because it's not going to be easy. They dug themselves in a hole, and there's a lot of good teams in that division. But like I've told you before, Seth Gustin's talked to me at multiple showcases about how he's really learning something. This is the first time he's ever been on. He said, humble brag, I quote him, that it's the first time he's ever been on a losing team in his life, whether it's playing or coaching. And I think that Coach Gustin's starting to figure some stuff out, and it's starting to translate to the guys, and they're starting to play a little better.
Seth had one of the funniest texts with me the other day. So after the Michigan Combine, we have our first ever Arizona Combine this year. We're partnering with this guy named Brent Goff, who helps run the Arizona Bobcats midget program. And it's essentially a camp that they run every year out there that we're going 50-50, basically. We're joining partnership with him. And for both Michigan and for Arizona, I rent a VRBO. Michigan is actually the same house we've stayed in every single year. Sleeps like 12 of us. Big. We have a fire every night. It's a great time, right? For the Arizona house, it's actually cheaper somehow. And it has like a little mini golf putting green in the backyard.
Oh, that's right.
And a water slide, right? So I mentioned this on the coaches call the other day, and it's kind of quiet for a second. I'm like, hey guys, remember, I need to bring like 8 or 9 guys to both of these. By the way, the Arizona house has a water slide. And Seth's like,
15 more submissions.
And Seth's like, well, should I stay with my parents because I'm from Arizona, or should I stay with the water slide?
I say stay with the EHL. Go see mom and dad, have dinner, and then come home. So, that'd be my
So
advice.
good. Like, so good. So good. So good. But before we wrap up the EHL, we obviously have the December showcase next week in Newington. Plug, best snack bar in the league. I'm actually getting ready for the breakfast sandwiches, and the cheeseburgers are pretty good too, right, Jeff? I think.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
good sandwiches. Remember, like I told you last week, that not only is that breakfast sandwich delicious, but it can also sit in your pocket for a whole 25-minute half. Keep your hands warm, and then you can eat it after, and it kills, two birds with one stone. Keeps you warm, and then keeps your belly full.
Yeah,
just saying.
It's almost like you could buy two of them, Jeff, and have like a hand warmer for each hand, right?
Now your stomach will be extremely full, and you'll probably fall asleep on your broadcast. But yeah.
Listen, like if they want to serve chicken noodle soup again like last year, then you'll be like really full by the time the day is over.
I think they did a chili or something to 1.2 to keep us warm. It is a cold break, so
yeah,
it's a little frigid.
But we have 4 games on Monday, 11 on Tuesday, 11 on Wednesday, 8 on Thursday. We'll get to the matchups a little more and the what to watch for, but this is a loaded showcase and a huge chance for a lot of these teams battling for points to get some much needed points right before the holiday break and really hit that break with some momentum. But let's jump over to the EHLP now, and let's actually start with the call that Tyler had for the Michigan goal.
Chamberlain off the skate, it pops to West. West tried the Michigan, and he scores on it! Sam West digging into his bag of tricks for a beautiful goal as he pulls the Michigan off, and he gives the Avalanche a 4-2 lead with 8:50 to go in the game. One of the best goals you're going to ever see in either the EHL or EHLP. And I think it's safe to say that that clip will find its way into our top plays of the month.
I give Tyler all the credit in the world because those are one of those goals where you just don't know it's coming, right? And the call felt so real, right? And you know how I feel, right? Like sometimes the Michigans, in a way, get a little old, but this one was pretty pure. And the head coach of the Avalanche, Josh Borden, for the EHLP team, was like, "You get me that clip, I'll get us on ESPN. I know a guy."
Oh,
I was like, "Okay."
Has that happened yet?
Not yet, but
okay.
But you set that bar.
That's in our top plays, I think, isn't it?
Well, it will be for December.
Or
right?
actually, sorry, it was after we've done top plays in November.
As you can hear in Tyler's call, it's gonna be in the top place.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that should probably be number 1.
Yes, but it's one of those goals. I don't want to sell like Torts here because Torts hates those goals, right? But it wasn't one that
the dirty areas.
No, like it was quick. It wasn't one of those slow developing ones, and he pulled it off in pretty emphatic fashion. So credit to Sam West for that. Oh, that was a wild game between the Rangers and the Avalanche. A 6-5 comeback overtime victory for the Rangers. And we're starting there in that New England division. And yes, it has felt like the same 3 teams, I will say, all year long. The thing about Adirondack that really continues to kind of intrigue me a little bit is they aren't as full as I think they would like to be from a lineup perspective. They're really playing more like 3 lines and 3 pairs of D every night. But the guys that they have clearly are pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, is that we don't usually get the injury report. I know you get some stuff that goes through their emails. Is that due to a lack of injury?
They do have 3 shoulder injuries that are not. I don't want to. Sorry, 3 upper body injuries. Okay,
there we go.
My bad.
There we go, Claude. Upper body.
That could take some time to heal.
Got it.
So, but I give them credit because they got points in 11 straight games, 8 wins in that stretch. Avalanche have won 3 of their last 4. Wolves have won 2 straight. So,
and that's interesting too that Coach Burkowski hasn't gone out to go find other bodies to kind of.
Well, they have 2, and they have a couple of new pieces coming in this week that they sent in, right? But it's been tough, right? Because it just shows you the grind of the season and how long it really is. And you're going to go through injuries, right? And maybe this is where a little bit of the difference between the EHL and the EHLP, Jeff. It's not as easy to find those extra guys, right? To have a more full and complete roster, right?
Especially because like high school seasons are just about to start, so you gotta really kind of really have had to catch guys like a month or so ago, or on the premier level, because that's what they usually do is they'll pick local high school guys that maybe want a bigger chance.
Yeah, and they're bringing back a D who was with them last year, who was over in Vermont, so that just shows you again how these teams work together, right? But there isn't as many of those opportunities at the EHLP level because some teams aren't quite as full, right? And look at some of the teams that are more full at the EHLP level include the Avalanche and the Wolves, who are going against the Adirondack right now. So and back to the Chiefs Applecore thing, maybe there aren't that many in-division trades, especially at the EHLP level, right? So, but we'll shift to the Boston division next. The Railers lose a game and then they just rip off 5 straight wins.
They just do that reality check. All right, we're good. All right, let's go, boys.
I do want to give
their numbers are stupid.
Well, and I do want to give the Chiefs a ton of credit here because they got beat up pretty good by them earlier this year, and they brought them to overtime yesterday. And I know there was a little bit of a controversial penalty shot goal where the puck went backwards, and the ref was pretty emphatic with his call to wave it off, right? But to go from where that first matchup was to 1-0 in overtime loss, like that, that's a lot of growth. And that's taking a Railers team that has 20 wins before Christmas, kind of to the brink there, right?
Not only that, averaging about 5 goals a game.
Yes.
108 goals in 22 games.
Podcast math, Anthony. Podcast math.
Well, that would be 110 goals if they average 5 goals per game. So just 2 goals below that pace.
Yeah. So right behind them, though, Rangers will probably get their 20th win pretty soon. Also, right? Safe bet.
Yeah, I'd say so. One away. They'll do it. They'll get it done. PJ Sweeney in the gag.
Yeah. Warriors
Sweeney up to like 22 goals now, I think it is. He's disgusting.
Keep an eye on Carter Amadon, though, lately. He scored a few game winners for them lately. And in the wise words of Jake Basile, who seems like he's on the right track with Vermont at the EHL level, he has said that this year's EHLP top 2 players, in his opinion, Carter Amadon from the Rangers and Zach Warner-Sini from the Railers. So,
any relation to Caleb Amadon, who played for the Avalanche?
Whoa,
good question.
You know what, Anthony? I hadn't thought about that. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I think Amadon's the one. Richie DeCaps told me he thinks he sees a little like Drake Tomac in him. I think that was who he compared him to.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Pretty good change.
But then to wrap up the EHLP with the Mid-Atlantic division, it seems kind of early on, Anthony. I got to say this. The Huntsmen have the 87's number right now. What have you noticed?
What have I noticed from the Huntsmen?
Frustrated.
No, I mean, the Huntsmen play a hard, gritty game. And I think that last game, too, it was interesting. I think both teams are showing some rust coming out of the Thanksgiving break. I think the 87's more so because the Huntsmen had played the Renegades the day before.
Yeah.
So, and I think for the 87's offense, they just weren't really able to get that much going.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's been an interesting series, though. Like the way the 87's took the first 2, and then the Huntsmen have won.
But yeah, I mean, very, very physical between both teams. A lot of, just a lot of hitting, a lot of, scuffles after the whistles. And, I mean, it's a good rivalry, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's developed fast.
So before we jump into fantasy next, I want to talk again about those combines that we kind of teased earlier. Oh, sorry.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
By the way, I think we have to mention this player. Nick Smith in 07 is playing at above a point per game now. He's a short forward. He's probably like 5'6" on a good day, but he unleashed a bomb of a one-timer on the power play from the blue line that beat the 87's goaltender, Frankie Smith. I mean, again, 07, really good player for the Huntsmen. He's got a bright future ahead of him. He's a
12 points in 12
one to watch
games,
out for.
And he was born when I graduated high school. All right, I'm out. See you later.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I shouldn't laugh because I was class of 09 in high school, but I know you were 07. So
hearing that makes my skin cringe now. That's an 07. I'm like,
wow, that hurts.
Yep. 7 goals, 5 assists. Little old Nick Smith.
But yeah, you're right, Anthony. 07. Watch out.
You never see that. Wow.
Yeah, no, not that young, right?
No.
So 16 years old, obviously from Pennsylvania, gets the chance to play some junior hockey. But we kind of teased this earlier.
Well
he was the best player in that game, I think, for the Huntsmen. He was everywhere on the ice.
So teased this earlier. I'll try to pull off a dad pun here because we were talking Sam West. So back to when we're going west there, Jeff.
Hey.
Go to Michigan first. Reminder for everyone, that combine is the 16th through 18th. What's new about that combine this year is the partnership that the league has formed with Michigan Elite Hockey, which is actually run by a guy named Mike Wainwright, whose son is Julian Wainwright, plays for Providence. So Michigan Elite Hockey, for those that don't know, is kind of, we'll call it a spring and summer program. And they actually have this like junior prospects league, if you will, that takes place literally every single Wednesday night. There's 4 teams that you obviously pay to participate in the league, and you get drafted onto your respective team. A player that played in this Michigan Elite prospects division last year was Brett Beal, Rangers champion.
It's pretty good.
So for those players that are from Michigan that are thinking about being a part of that league, Brett Beal's pretty damn good. He'll commit this year, right?
Top line player.
The whole point behind their junior prospects division is it gets even more exposure to some junior coaches. And for us as a league, we actually are going out there on a Wednesday to catch a night of the junior prospects action. Then our combine starts the next day, Thursday. So you could potentially, if you're a player from Michigan, play in the prospects on that Wednesday night, and then be a part of our combine Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Michigan, right? Right after Michigan, as I kind of mentioned earlier, 2 weeks later, we leave on Memorial Day, the holiday. The camp starts on Tuesday. We're out in Arizona, and the more I look around the league, we have more players from Arizona than I really realized, right?
Yeah.
The first that come to mind, obviously, Brendan Manning from the Vermont Lumberjacks. Ryan Koshiel's having a great season for the East Coast Wizards. A player who participated in the combine last year, who actually hasn't played a game in the league yet, but I'm going to try and pull a Jake here and say, watch out for Finn Fitzgerald. He came to our Michigan combine, or not Michigan, Massachusetts combine this year, and he actually signed to play out of the combine with the American Hockey Academy, which of course is the midget program underneath the Boston Junior Terriers. He just came across the recent additions link that I have for the Terriers to add him in. And I'll tell you what, he may not
be about that page. I haven't hit that page yet.
He may not be another. Oh, you really should, Jeff. It's been active lately.
I know. Now is the time to hit it. I don't hit it in the early season because it's boring. It's dusty. There's nothing going on.
I don't know if he brings quite the spark that maybe a Feinberg did for them, but watch out. That's all I have to say, right?
Speaking of additions too from Arizona, don't forget with the Koshel family, we've had Mr. Koshel in fantasy, so that's been a huge addition to the league.
Yes, I think, you know what, Jeff? I think that's a perfect segue. Radio, they have their teases, we have our segues. To the fantasy challenge we go.
Now it's time for the E-Show Fantasy Challenge. Follow along on the EHL app, available now for free on both Apple iOS and Android.
And as our fantasy challenge starts every week, we touch on first our Yahoo. I almost said Yahoo. Yahoo.
Our chocolate milk.
It's a drink.
Fancy.
That's so bad, Jeff. That's so bad. I will say this though. I
Neil, let me
typically-
know, how are you doing? Let's see.
I was able to
6
win
and 2.
this past
Hold
week.
on, you're over 1,000 points, 6 and 2, fourth place. That's cool. Yeah, you
Yeah,
want to know how I'm doing? Yeah,
Huh.
horrible. I am the least scoring. I am the lowest scoring team in our entire freaking league. I want to swear so bad right now. I'm on a 6-game losing streak, and I'm taking on our executive producer Justin Squitieri this week. Oh, and what did you ask? What was that you asked, Neil? Oh, but what did I do with my goalie switch? Oh, so see, I traded for Andre Vasilevsky, Justin Squitieri's lovely Lightning, and man, did he suck the week I started him. So this week I got cute and I benched him. So he said, "Oh, okay, Jeff, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna shut the Dallas Stars off 4-0." And then last night almost shut the Penguins out. Gave up a goal with like 20-something seconds left. So he's had like 20-something points on my bench. Oh, and then you ask who I put in for him? Oh, that was Peter Kochetkov, who's a bum and has already been cut off my team because he got 3 goals on 6 shots last night. You clown. Goodbye.
Jeff is rattled right now.
Jeff, do you need a hug right now?
I do. I always am really good in fantasy hockey. I've been sleeping, and drinking hockey since I was 8 years old, and this is like embarrassing and bothering me. I'm wheeling, I'm dealing. I had to give Eichel away. I got Tage Thompson coming back from my IR.
And
F
speaking
this.
of wheeling
F
and
this.
speaking of wheeling and dealing, Jeff,
Yes.
I saved a trade offer that I received last night until this morning to present to you guys to make the decision for me.
Light me up, Buttercup.
I think
Here we
I
go.
know the decision, but I'll let you make the decision for me. I get offered this last night. I give up Kyle Connor for Timo Meyer and Mason McTavish.
Absolutely not.
Thank you. Like, I'm not
Who's that,
missing
Ryan?
something.
Oh,
I'm not
Ryan,
missing
yeah.
something here, right?
No. Meyer's been hurt. McTavish is good, but
He's
not Kyle Connor. Kyle Connor's a 40-goal scorer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I kind of teased Don Sweeney earlier. I think I was talking to you guys off the air before we started this. I saw Don Sweeney last night at the
At Joe's
USA Hockey
Awards, or-
Hall of Fame induction. Joe got the Lester
Yeah.
Patrick Award, right? Don Sweeney was the first guy I saw in. Kyle Connor is one of the guys they missed. Remember that? I forget. It was like they
Zach
had
Senyshyn, Jake DeBrusk, and friggin' Zaboral.
yes,
That
and
was
then
part of
Connor went like a pick or two later.
Oh yeah, Connor, Barzal. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah. So my message to Ryan, okay, if the Bruins can't have Kyle Connor, my fantasy can. Okay.
Mhm.
So while
That's
we're
right.
live on the podcast, reject trade. Okay.
Sorry, Ryan. Suck it.
Sorry. I had to save that one because I got too excited when that one came over. I was like, you know what? We're going to do this on the podcast tomorrow, and I'm going to
I
hit
love it.
reject with everybody
I love
else
it.
right there.
I
So,
love it.
but for those that aren't involved in our 12-person Yahoo Fantasy League, they're funny that you can still do from a fantasy hockey perspective, Jeff, with DraftKings.
Yes, just take your season-long team and just dump it in the trash. And go bet on the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook, because that'll make you a lot happier, and you'll probably win a lot more money, and you'll be great. So don't go download the app now and use the code THPN, because new customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. You hear that, people? So you bet $5, you can get $150 instantly. So that's a no-brainer is what we call that. So that's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bets do expire 168 hours after issuance, so remember that. And if you have a gambling problem, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER, or you can visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, you can call 877-8-HOPENY, or you can text HOPENY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling there as well. You can call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. You can void that in Ontario. Bonus bets do expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023. All rights are reserved.
So now we get to E-Show Fantasy. Sorry for when we had a longer Yahoo rant there.
I feel better.
Usually
Sorry.
do. No, it's all good, Jeff. It's all good.
There's still time, Neil. There's still time.
I saw
I'm gonna fix
when Vazzy gave up all those goals against Dallas, like in the first period, and I knew that when the scene shifted to Tampa, it's like he either gets shelled again or puts on a show, right?
Yep. Good for him. Can't wait. Hope he does it next week when he's go back to my lineup and then he sucks again. Anywho.
Funny. But Anthony, you missed this last week. We actually wrapped up the month of November last week on Thursday, and you mentioned Dumont earlier. We haven't confirmed yet. I got to figure it out if Marc-Andre Dumont is Jordan's father. We
no
believe
Chiefs there though.
No, exactly. We believe John Koshel is Ryan's father, but John finished 1 point behind Mark, 88.6 to 89.6. Because last Wednesday, the Bears started Tim Briley in that shutout win that they had against the Little Flyers, the first game back from the break. So because of that, ticket number 2 that has been punched for the round of champions went to Marc-Andre Dumont and not John Koshel. So I have to probably say that must sting to be that close.
Right.
I'm not going to lie.
1 point. Oh,
like.
We've all had fantasy losses like that. Not fun.
Where it comes down to literally the wire, just like that, right? But I'm going to pull up the submissions that we have so far for the month of December. I know that the website has not been updated yet. We'll have that updated prior to the showcase, obviously. Please know that creating the Google Sheet
the monster
and having it code so that all the points and whatnot sync right over. It's not something that you can kind of just snap your fingers and it happens. So it will be there. We'll have it all updated prior to the showcase so that you can follow along during the showcase, right? But I do want to get to some of the picks that have been made, and maybe this is the elephant in the room. Everyone's just trying to go chalk nowadays, guys. I mean, look at AJ Lacus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people picked him.
Damn.
I know he leads the league in scoring. I get it.
A lot of Charlie DiMartinos from the Express P.
Yeah, we mentioned Phil Feinberg. This is the new forward for the East Coast Wizards right here.
Oh, yes. I meant to mention it. We were talking about him earlier. Mika Kelishan?
Are you calling a Wizards game?
I think I do have a couple of theirs.
Yeah.
We'll go talk to Corey and ask.
Yeah.
But
we've talked about Aiden O'Connell and Aaron O'Connor.
don't confuse them. They're close.
I already know I have a few points so far from Austin Peterson. Jake, of course. I mentioned this earlier. Big fan of Zach Warner-Sini, so of course he picked him.
The Wine Man. Look at that.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I didn't realize how hard it was to spell.
Yeah, Winman.
This one's Winman.
Oh, is that Mr. Mealy? Corbin Mealy's
No, that's Trevor. Oh my God, Trevor.
Oh my God.
He spelled him wrong. Oh my God. This is such. Oh my God. I can't let this one go. So these are all the forward picks, right? Cole Davidson was named forward of the month this past month for the EHLP.
David Basin, don't do me wrong. I picked you.
Landon Adams of the 87s. He's been red hot recently.
Red hot. So
let's see goalies. We got a lot of Reardons over there.
I'm going to go to the D next.
Oh, D,
right?
yes. Let's stay in order. Let's stay symmetrical now.
So I'm assuming we'll see a few Jack Costabile, of course, because that's what one for me and one for Mr. Dumont this past month. He's picked
How about the Ron
6 times.
Costabile's on, by the way? He's still top 5 in the league in points as a D-man.
Well, I love the person who put in Ryan Koshel in all caps.
Koshel!
Emphasis.
Yeah. James O'Connor. So I'm assuming that must be Aaron O'Connor's father because he picks all Wizards. Everything's in all caps. He's literally screaming at us, Anthony.
Gavin Kiley! Ryan Koshel!
Look at a number. We got 7 people that picked Mealy's. Corbin Mealy.
Oh, that's probably just the Railer staff.
I did
Trevor,
give you
Haley, Jake.
I did give you a lot of credit, Anthony, when we went through our way too early finals
Oh,
picks
that's
last
right.
week, I did point out you
did
did
the
not
opposite.
pick a single 87s team. Meanwhile, every Railers staff picked the Railers. So
Is that a reverse psychology, Ant? Can
Yes.
you give us a little bit into that?
No, I mean, yeah. If you want to say, I can give the team bulletin board material, but no, I mean, look, I get that I work with the 87s, but
okay.
the Bears
Good.
have been doing really well. I have to acknowledge that, and the
Smart,
Huntsmen have been playing pretty well. Plus, they have the 87s number right now, and I think the other thing is too. Neil has said it. We know it's what we call the way too early frozen finals picks.
There you go.
So I know that just because I pick other teams now doesn't mean that's what's going to happen in March.
Yep, for sure.
Well said.
For sure.
There we go, folks.
Other defensemen picked so far for December, Brock Burrell. He won the defenseman of the month.
Yeah.
Burrell. I'm sorry.
Oh, like Pat Burrow.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
good
Back
one,
in the day.
Jeff. Good one,
Right?
Jeff.
That's what I thought when I saw his name.
Yeah.
Drew
Drew
Cody.
Cody picked 5 times. Keep going down the
Fitzgerald
list
a
here.
couple of times.
I will point out Paul Johnson, who began the year with the Boston Junior Terriers. We've talked a lot about trades on this podcast, and I think the reason why is because a lot of times a trade is helping to put a player in a better spot, and he's been in a great spot so far since he got to Philadelphia Hockey Club. This one's interesting. It's actually Merrick Herta, not Mark. But that's part of the reason why this takes a little time.
Well, you know what? We'll give this person the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the EQ wasn't working very well. So
yeah, it could have been, but that's part of
Herta,
why
another star of the month.
Star of the month. Yep. That's why it takes some time for us to get this.
That's also like Ellis Island stuff right there. Oh, Merrick, no, you're Mark.
Anthony DePaulo? No. You a D. Anthony
Connor
D.
Mariner. We haven't talked about him as much, but he's been great so far this season for the Rangers, who always seem to have one big defenseman that they bring in new every season that just kind of is like a steady force for them on the back end. And then I got to sort the goalies for you here. I'm sure there's a few Fries and a few Reardons in here. Fry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Reardon 6 times.
Oh, Flanagan, that was someone we talked about a lot with the Bandits. Gets a lot of saves. Someone's taking notes.
Well, I took him, and then 3 other people copied me. So,
Aaron Donovan from the Express P.
Yeah, he's in there 5 times.
Bill Champlain.
Remember, if a player gets injured or moved or whatnot, you can pick a new player.
That's right.
Take that player's spot, but it wipes out all the points earned up into that point, so you go back down to 0 for that position. So you have to really do the math out or do the projections out in your head based off what's to come, right? Other goalies that are on the list, Aaron Matthews.
Hugeson in there.
Yeah, he's on there. Aaron Matthews just suffered his first loss of the season the other day. It's
Jake, big cry.
It's December, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see someone else pick Cross Sherman.
Yep, Cross Sherman, who, like I said, we haven't put in the December stats yet, but he already has a December shutout against the New Jersey Bears, right? So, like I said, we'll have the points updated prior to the showcase. Just know that, and bear with us with the patience. It's one of those things where the picks come in right up until the deadline on December 1st, and you can't just snap your finger. Like, it takes a little time.
Do you get points as a goalie for shutting out a top 5 team, asking for me and one other person?
No, we took that out this year.
We eliminated that.
We took that out. You do get if the goalie gets an assist, you do get that. If a goalie gets a goal, you do get that.
It's like a Tristan Jarry situation.
Tristan Jarry, yeah. I still don't understand why he didn't do the drive-by on the bench. When a goalie scores, maybe we have to pull our goalies. If they ever score, wouldn't every goalie want to do the drive-by? Like, he just stayed in net. Like, if I was a goalie, I'd be at that bench so quickly.
Speaking of goalie goals.
Okay.
So, I was on the hockey subreddit, and there was a clip from a beer league game where this one person missed a wide open net, and then the second clip, the guy who posted was the goalie. He shot the puck down the ice, going no more than 5 miles an hour, went right through the wickets of the other goaltender. So a goalie scored on another goalie, and the reason why I brought it up, It was in Piney Orchard Arena where Team Maryland plays.
Oh,
Someone got the
man.
clip from Live Barn, and I look at it. Literally, the first thing I said, "That's Piney Orchard Arena."
I know that place. I've been there.
But the goalie was in net, and he got
Yes,
scored
goalie
on.
scored on another goalie.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
that's like
God.
entry level beer league hockey right there, guys.
Oh boy. Oh.
Yeah, we gotta ask Tyler about that one.
Hey,
Tyler, have you
Tyler's
seen
call.
this?
Oh.
In your Foxborough Sports Center late night 12
Oh,
p.m.
sweet
games?
Jesus, Tyler. That's what he would say. Remember? He said that before,
Yeah.
right? Oh, man. Oh, wow. That's tough. That's
Oof.
tough. All right. Well, that will end fantasy for us. I want to do a longer what to watch for because, of course, we do have a showcase on the horizon.
And now here's what to watch for in the EHL and the EHLP.
What to Watch For is presented by Flow Hockey, the official streaming platform for your EHL and EHLP action throughout the 2023-2024 season.
So, with what to watch for this week, I want to go day by day with the EHL and list off all the games because, this, of course, is just an EHL only showcase. No EHLP this week coming up. Obviously, we still have 5 games today, the day that we dropped the podcast, 6 games tomorrow, 2 games
Right,
Saturday.
heavy.
Everyone
Heavy.
said, we'll take Sunday off, Neil, okay? We'll take Sunday off in
So we can
advance.
travel.
Yeah, exactly. On Monday, though, here's your 4 matchups, right? Wizards, Rhode Island, Chiefs, Bandits, Rough Riders, Bears, Apple Core, Warriors. What jumps out to you guys?
Ooh. I mean, Wizards Rhode Island is a good one. We talked about how hot the Wizards are. Rhode Island's starting to play a lot better recently.
Yep.
Bears, Rough Riders.
The
Rough
last
Riders have
time the
played-
Bears and Rough Riders played
Yeah.
was a 5-4 overtime win for the Bears. And
Is that
I
a
think
showcase game? I don't remember.
not a
that
showcase game, but it
Was not.
speaks to
Okay.
the parity, right?
Yeah.
If you want to go strictly by standings, there's your first place in the league team, or right towards the top, the Bears, and the team towards the bottom. If we're talking parity and the Rough Riders can push the Bears to overtime, that shows you just how deep our league truly is.
Yeah. No, and I think that's what you look at some of these matchups. We talked about the Warriors. They've played the fewest games in that first half. So here you go. Here's Lenny Caglione and the New York Apple Core, Ryan McGrath and Mike Clardy. Yeah. Enjoy. So that could be a good one. And yeah, I think these all have some good storylines with them.
I'd be interested to see how Anthony Vernillo does for the Connecticut Chiefs. They're going up against the Bridgewater Bandits, another
Yeah.
team that's been struggling a bit this season, but
No points in his first game, so it's time for him to start lighting up.
Yep, for sure. So there's your 4 games Monday. Oof. All right. Breathe in, breathe out. 11 games Tuesday.
Start at
Bandits-
8:30, baby. Get
Bandits
there.
Rough. Oh, hey, do you know what the best part about Tuesday is, Jeff?
Hmm.
We have our annual owners midwinter meeting on Tuesday.
What?
Yeah. We wanted to do it during the showcase so that the owners could come in and check out the action, right? So actually, backtrack.
I'll say so.
Jeff.
Everyone's coming in person. There's no
Yes,
Zoom.
we're coming
or
in
some people
person,
are on
right?
Zoom or-
So now
Oh.
backtrack. We have 4 games Monday night. Anthony, hopefully we can get your trip booked so on Monday night you can come with us to get wings at my favorite
Side Street Grill.
college bar restaurant, right? I'll have an incredible heartburn the next day, Jeff. Waking up on Tuesday.
Oh, we'll be fine, but we'll be fine. We'll get Tom's story.
Bandits, Rough Riders, Providence, Rangers, Avalanche, Wizards. That's a big one. Rhode Island, Spartans, Warriors, Seahawks, 87s, Terriers. Like that one. Bears, Lumberjacks, Applecore, Little Flyers, Railers, Huntsmen, Express, Maryland, Philly Hockey Club, Wolves. So as I mentioned, Jeff, I will have to step out for a little bit here because of our owners meeting, right?
Mhm.
But 11 games Tuesday. I kind of just teased it myself.
Ooh,
The Wizards have
Wizards,
faced the Avalanche once,
Yep.
and they won that game back in September.
wait, who do you mean by they? That seemed pretty big.
Wizards.
Okay.
They
And Chris
both
Sorella
have
has been talking to you a lot about strength of schedule and who they've beaten. And
power rankings and
that would be
Ravens rankings.
oh,
Right?
and welcome to the Power Rankings, New Hampshire Avalanche
Yes,
at number
yeah,
5. We
Yeah.
went a whole episode without bringing that in. Sorry,
Yeah.
Big C.
Yeah, lose your first game of the power rankings. Moving on. Anyways, but
oh, here comes Chris Sorella.
I highlighted this one too. 87s Terriers. That's an intriguing matchup.
That should be a very
Juicy.
fun matchup.
I like Railers Huntsman too. That's
Yeah.
got some good feel to it.
First time ever at the EHL level. Remember last year at the EHLP level, the Huntsmen knocked off the Railers, right?
Yep.
This matchup, Express Maryland, that was a shootout in Newington last year. So, I mean, we're going day by day here because I'm not going to make you guys pick one game apiece. We're just every day.
I like this.
Every day is jam packed.
Jam.
Wizards Lumberjacks to kick off Wednesday. That was a matchup we just had at the regional showcase as well. Huntsman Bandits, Express Bears, Rhode Island 87s. Here's my 87s history, Anthony, for you. Last year, these two teams, Rhode Island 87s, faced off at the Newington Showcase.
Yep.
Who scored the overtime winner for the 87s?
I think I called
Charles
that game.
Lavoie.
Bingo!
Yes.
There he
was.
goes.
And
Anthony, didn't we call that together,
I'm not
Anthony?
mistaken, no. I don't think I was calling that game. But if I'm not
I thought you were with
mistaken,
me.
I think Will O'Brien scored against his former team.
Yes.
O'Brien played for the 87s P team,
Yep.
and he scored in that game against the 87s EHL team.
Yep.
I could have sworn you were on the call with me on that one, Anthony. I know
That
you
was
joined me couple
that
times.
was a great game at last year's Newington Showcase.
Yeah.
Continuing on Wednesday, Wolves, Terriers, Little Flyers, Chiefs, Avalanche, Rangers. Not a big game. 2:30.
No
Warriors.
instant replay available. Sorry. Like I
Oh
said.
Jesus! Warriors, Maryland, Seahawks, Railers, Philly Hockey Club versus the Apple Corps, and Providence versus the Spartans. So another 11-game Wednesday, and then you would think that by the time we get to Thursday, we could breathe a little bit,
Everyone's
but we
burnt out.
nope. We still
More
have
games.
8 more games, including Railers, Maryland, Huntsman, Rough Riders, Philly Hockey Club versus the Chiefs, Seacoast Spartans versus the Little Flyers. Avalanche are
87s
going
Avs?
Wizards. Avalanche have the Wizards, Rangers, 87s.
What? There's your strength of schedule, bud.
That's
strong.
Who
Strong
scheduled?
like you, Chris.
Who scheduled that?
Grr.
Who scheduled that? Rangers versus Lumberjacks, Seahawks, Providence, and we wrap it up. Wolves, Express, guys.
That's not a bad way to end the showcase.
We have 34 fantastic games.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Remember, the podcast obviously is typically a Thursday thing. We will not be recording this next Thursday. Okay. By the time we get to Thursday, we'll be burnt out and we'll have 8 more games. Friday will be difficult for us on its own next Friday, right? Meanwhile, we do have a number of games taking place in the EHLP as well. Not 34 games, okay? Not we don't have 34 games to play in a week span. I want to say there's probably like 20 or so. Wolves, Warriors, Avalanche, Railers. That could be a very good matchup on Friday. Actually, look at our Friday matchups in the EHLP. Avalanche, Railers, Wolves, Rangers. Those are 2 very good games coming up tomorrow in the EHLP. Plenty of action there as well. 87s face the Little Flyers on Sunday.
This weekend, the Renegades are heading to the CIA up in Adirondack.
God, you love that, Ray. That's your favorite. I think Anthony wants to move the finals to Adirondack. He's going to stop by the owners' meeting on Tuesday and say, I have one motion, finals, going to Adirondack.
There we go.
It wouldn't be the worst location. It is an ECHL arena.
And I've heard great things. I will say that, right? And then, of course, we wrap up the podcast week, if you will, for the EHLP with the Railers versus Warriors next Thursday. So, yeah, like I said, next Thursday, the 14th, typically the day that we record the next podcast and blast it out to all of you. But we will be we'll be a little tied up that day with some showcase stuff, right? So the podcast will come out next Friday. So the only other thing that we kind of failed to mention that I want to make sure we do mention now, recently announced yesterday by the Boston Junior Eagles, Ian Moran will be their head coach next season in their first season in the EHL. That's our 24th team. And we haven't used the word symmetry yet on this podcast, Jeff, but 24 with 4 divisions, 6, 6, 6, 6.
That's 6. That's now we have an even 40 teams too.
Yes, so there are a few teams thinking about EHLP too. That's
no, you can't screw up the symmetry. We got to stay at 24 and 16. Has it been driving you insane with the 23 and 16 all year?
I am a big even number guy.
You are,
and I don't want this podcast to go on for another hour about even versus odd numbers, but I could go on about that, right?
24, 16.
It is an OCD thing though of mine. I will admit that, right?
It's crept into me too all these years being friends with you.
All right. Well, if you ever start
Thanks for
start counting things, Jeff, just call me. All right. That's my issue. All right. So, but that will do it for this week's podcast. Like I said before, we'll have the updated fantasy standings up for everyone to check out before the showcase gets started. Don't worry, that's on Monday. The entire crew on Monday night is going to my favorite wing place too. Anybody that wants to join us, it's right in downtown Hamden, which is the hometown of the Quinnipiac University. Just saying.
Just saying. Reigning national champs.
There will be like 6 or 7 of us there. We're probably going to get the big plate like last time, Jeff.
That big bowl. We're going to get a couple of those, and there'll be like 6 of us at least. So.
Well, the best part is when you go to this place, this is a unpaid plug of Side Street because I just have to do it. You order like 30, and it's like you handed us 50. They just don't count them there. They just pour them on the plate.
Bucket they gave you and Tyler last year. Here you go. Their fries, very underrated too. The crinkle cut fries, those are good to cool off your tongue a little bit.
Just a little bit. So if you can't make it to Newington for the showcase, all the games will, as always, be broadcast on Full Hockey. Maybe we have another Michigan goal in there. You never know when it's coming, just as Tyler Arago. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
See you in Newington.
Thanks for listening to The E-Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Learn more about us at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when our next podcast episode is released.